Hey guys, this is Lee here, and in this video I'm going to go over the game-changing 2-to-1 main sheet, which is going to change the way people sail. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had trouble trimming in the main sheet, especially if the winds got a little heavier?
Windy!
Well, the answer to that is the 2-to-1 main sheet. I made a video a couple of months ago on how to rig a 2-to-1 main sheet, so I'm not going to go into the details of it. But in this video, I'm going to go over the pros of the 2-to-1 main sheet and the cons of the 2-to-1 main sheet. Now, a month ago, I've sailed in the North American Championship hosted by La Valette Yacht Club in northern New Jersey, and I had a lot of experience with the 2-to-1 main sheet, sailing in heavy winds and light winds over the course of 11 races on 3 days, plus a practice race. So I've kind of gotten used to what the 2-to-1 main sheet can do and cannot do. So let's get right into it. The first pro to the 2-to-1 main sheet is that it just makes trimming the main sheet easier. Now, if the wind builds into the mid-teens and even into the 20s like it was in La Valette, it becomes a really difficult to trim in the main sheet, especially if you're a little bit weaker or just smaller and you just need more effort. With the 2-to-1 main sheet, the forces needed to pull in the main sheet are a lot less than a regular main sheet one-to-one system that we all know and love. And if one can sail in more conditions and for a longer period of time, you're just going to have more fun while sailing your Sunfish Sailboat. And the second pro about the 2-to-1 main sheet system is that it's very simple to install. If you could rig a Sunfish regularly, then with an extra turn of the main sheet and to know how to tie a bowline to the boom, there you have it. So it's very simple to do, which brings us to the third pro about the 2-to-1 main sheet. It doesn't take that much more equipment. It's very simple. You need an extra block and you need an extra long main sheet. So if you're liking this content, or if you know someone who could use this content, please share it with them. And don't forget to smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Now for the cons of the 2-to-1 main sheet. As I said before, one of the pros about the 2-to-1 main sheet is simple, and it needs simple equipment like a longer main sheet and a boom block or some sort of block that can go on a traveler. If you want to be class legal, you have to use a boom block, but that becomes the first con. You need a longer main sheet, and most people don't have that longer main sheet, and I found that a 40-foot main sheet would work well. I used a 42-foot main sheet in the North Americans, and I found it a few feet too long. 40 feet, in my opinion, will be ideal. With that extra equipment, which is the extra long main sheet, you also need another boom block. So you could purchase those boom blocks. I'll leave a description down below, and you need to lash it onto the traveler. And now you can get the 2-to-1 main sheet system installed in a matter of a few minutes. Now with the 2-to-1 main sheet that's attached to the aft boom block, it does take longer amount of time to trim in, especially if you're racing and especially if you're going down to the leeward mark. That means you have to give extra pulls to get around the mark. Now, is this a big deal? I don't think it is, because you are saving a lot of energy going upwind and you kind of get used to it. In my last video, I showed it took me about 3 to 4 extra pulls to trim in the extra length of line. It's not that big of a deal. It never really interfered with rounding a leeward mark. And if you're recreationally sailing, you're probably not going to notice any difference anyway, because it's just extra line that you have to pull in. But when you're racing and you have to go into tight spots and around other boats, that can make a difference. But everyone that I've talked to never noticed too much of a difference. You get used to it right away. However, a main con that I found, when you're in big winds with heavy waves and the waves come into the boat, sometimes things start floating around. Like my water bottle was floating around, my sponge was floating around, and the main sheet was floating around. Now the problem with the main sheet floating around was wrapping around the hiking strap. That's not a big deal when you're trimming. It is a big deal when you're rounding and you want to go downwind. When you go downwind, you let the sail out. Now, if the main sheet is wrapped around the hiking strap, it can't let the sail out. You're starting to go downwind, and now the main sheet is stopped like halfway. Now you're on a reach. Now, if I wanted to go dead downwind, I have to let the main sheet out about 90 degrees from the center of the boat. But I was trimmed in like this, and now I'm reaching away from the destination I'm gonna go. And I'm not the only one. I talked to about 5 different people, and we all laughed about how fast we were going in the wrong direction. We were sailing right to the club, and we wanted to sail downwind. It took a while to get that. It wasn't a knot, it was just wrapped around, and then I lost about 20 boat lengths by the time I got everything settled down. If you are sailing with the 2-to-1 main sheet, you have to pay attention when you're going upwind, especially if that line is wrapping around the hiking strap. If it's wrapping around the hiking strap, I highly suggest that if you have to turn downwind, you make sure that's loose enough so you have several feet that can go downwind. And when I was racing, if I noticed it starting to wrap around and the water was making it float, I would reach down while I'm sailing upwind. I'm shaking it out, making sure there's a less tight spaghetti, and I had some in my lap, some on the boat. It was a little bit difficult to do, especially because I was racing and it was heavy air, and you're trying to hike and you're trying to steer and you're trying to trim at the same time. So you're doing 3 things at one time. But after I figured out that it was going to run, it did save me a lot of distance, and I did much better than discovering it wrapped around my hiking strap, rounding the windward mark. That is a huge con, but once you know about it, and once you know how to make sure it's not wrapped around and it could go, then it's fine. The third disadvantage is that you do have a little block at the end of your traveler, and the tension of the main sheet is in that little pulley. They have this boom block, and the line goes into the boom block, and the line holds it up like my fingers are holding it up. Now, if for whatever reason the tension is lost, the boom block can go like this, and all of a sudden it could go to the side, and when you're trimming, now it's not trimming on the pulley, and that could be a problem because now you got friction. Not a big deal. You just stop sailing and then line it back up, you go back to transom, and then that's it. However, when you're sailing in the middle of the water during a race and you decide to try to cross Will Kresick on port and he's on starboard, and you ask him if you can cross, and you think he says cross, and then he didn't say cross, and I'm on port, and then he hits me because he couldn't get around me, and it was totally my fault. That's when it's a problem, because his boat landed on my boat, the tension of the main sheet was lost, and then we got ourselves separated. Then I have to do circles, and once I got everything set and I was sailing away, I noticed that my block was off the main sheet, and I'm still trying to race, and it took me a few seconds to lean back there and fix it. But if it does get off like that, that's the hazard of having the block there. It's just another thing, but it usually doesn't happen. So live and learn. That probably cost me 10th place in the North Americans. The last con is it's not really easy to rig on the water. Now, there's a few ways to rig it. I showed you in my last video how to rig the 2-to-1. You could also use a clip. That might save some effort trying to rig it, going from a 1-to-1 to a 2-to-1 on the water. Some people use a stopper knot that's attached to the boom strap. I'm going to go over all these different techniques on a different video. If you are going to plan to use the 2-to-1, just rig it on the land. If it's light air, no big deal. It's a little bit heavier with the line. It's a lot easier if the wind picks up and you want the 2-to-1 to just have it already installed. If you want to install it on water, that's a con. It's a little bit more difficult because you're in the back of the boat. You're trying to get the boom in line so you could tie the bowline, and then your boat starts sailing away. And trust me, just rig it on land and you'll be much happier. Those are the pros and cons of the 2-to-1 main sheet for the Sunfish Sailboat. It will be a game changer. I highly recommend it for everyone, even if you're young and strong, older, weaker, whatever. I still recommend a 2-to-1 main sheet because it makes sailing more easier, and when sailing's easier, it's more enjoyable. Before I say goodbye to you guys, I just want to tell you that I was awarded at the North Americans. It was a big surprise. They called me up. So Will Kresick was the outgoing president of the U.S. Sunfish class. I was voted 2024 Member of the Year for my videos that I produce. It was really touching. There's a lot of surprise, and I think this is a really nice trophy, and I was really touched by it. I gave a little speech, and I said, really, this goes out to all the members of the class and all the Sunfish sailors. It goes out to all the people who have taught me throughout the years. There was dozens and dozens of people, and I get little bits and pieces, and this is about all the sailors and everyone who's taught me. I'm just the one who's trying to spread the information out through YouTube and video and Facebook Live and things like that. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate all the subscribers and people who smash the like button and share the videos. And what an honor. I really thank Will Kresick for a great job he has done as the Sunfish class president, and all the sailors, because without you guys saying hello to me and all the positive reactions and all the suggestions and the comments, this is not worth doing. But it's all for you guys, and I appreciate it, and that's all I could really say. So thank you again. This award goes out to the Sunfish class in general. I'm just like a speaker for all the people who've come before me, whoever was in the Sunfish Bible and who's been, who I've taken clinics from like Eduardo Cordero, and then most recently like Mike Ingham. All these people, we all share information, and I'm just one who's putting it online. So this is actually something from the class. I'm just there recording it. So thanks. I'm very honored to be recognized by Will and I just got to take one video. If you guys could all. Don't forget to smash that like button. And really, the Sunfish community is amazing. So thank you so much, and I appreciate everything you guys do. If you like this comment, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and if you like this, check out this video. So everyone's trying out this 2-to-1 here.